Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Andrew, and today we're going to go and finish up a few more of the rooms within our starting point for Tier 0 on the learning basics of penetration testing. So we've already gone through a lot of these rooms, and we left off here on MonGod, and we're going to go ahead and get this spun up and started. As always, huge thank you to Hack the Box for getting me into the VIP Plus subscription this year. I've been doing nothing but enjoying it with a lot of the Sherlock rooms, additional challenges, and to include their Sherlock CTF coming up here in the next few weeks. So please, 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 if you've not looked into that or signed up yet with a team, definitely check it out. So let's go ahead and get started with our MonGod box, and we've already done our spin up. So we're going into the pwn box provided by Hack the Box. So we're here inside of our instance with our command line ready. We've already spun up and got our target machine ready and going. So let's go ahead and get some of these questions answered. So looks like our first two questions is going to be how many TCP ports are open on the machine and what service is running on 27017. So there's already a hint that we're going to have one port open. So let's see what else we can find. Now, I already have this Nmap ready to go. So let's go ahead and enumerate and see what we can find inside of our box. Okay, cool. So here we go, completed. Looks like we're seeing two ports in particular. We have port 22 with the TCP OpenSSH and port 27017, which is running our MonGod DB 3.6.8. So if we give it back over here and we say how many ports are there, the answer is 2. So great. And then what service is running on our port 27017? That is the MongoDB 3.6.8. So our next thing we'd be doing is what type of database is MongoDB SQL or non-SQL. Now, you'll have a hint here, but obviously we already answered the question. But what it will pretty much ask you to do is take that question and drop it in Google so we can figure out if we don't know. So let's just go and assume that we don't know what that is. So let's pull this over, and MongoDB is a document-oriented NoSQL database, meaning it stores data in flexible JSON-like documents rather than the fixed rows and columns of traditional relational databases. So perfect. Now that we have that, we can simply type in NoSQL, and that will give us our next flag. What command is used to launch the interactive MongoDB shell from the terminal? Now, the first thing we need to do before you get further into this is we actually need to download and connect to the MongoDB. So we're going to do that, and I already have notes here on the side because I'm going to get this pulled over and make sure that this happens the right way the first time, is we need to download that, and we're going to do it the curl command and targeting toward the downloads.mongodb.com, and you're going to go ahead and once you get that command in, you're going to hit enter. We're going to see all that stuff spit and load. And once we see that 100%, looks like that should be good to rock and roll. We now next need to extract the contents of that tar. And this is the command you're going to be running for it right here. tar xvf mongosh tac 2.3.2 and then that linux x64.tgz. All right. Perfect. Looks like that ran correctly. Now, next thing we need to do is we need to navigate to that location where mongosh binary is present. So we're going to do a simple change directory mongosh 2.3.2 into that Linux folder, and that should put us into there perfectly. And then the next thing we're going to be running is our .mongosh MonGod semicolon, and then we have our target IP, which we're going to go back over here, grab this right from here, put that in, and the port we are looking for is 27017. Now, if this is done correctly, what this is going to do is it'll put us into a kind of like a GUI that we can then kind of mess around with and do some more commands to find the rest of our flags. So, and perfect. Looks like we were in. So, but let's go back to our questions. So, because I think this right here is going to be our answer, is what was the command we used to launch the interactive MongoDB shell from the terminal? So, and it was mongosh. Don't think it wants the perfect. Yeah, it didn't want the period dot or dot slash. So what command is used to launch the interactive? Perfect, we got that one done. What is the command used for listing all the databases present on the MongoDB server? No need to include the trailing. So this is going to be another piece where we can simply look this up online if you don't know what that one is. But what I know it is, it's going to be show DBS semicolon. And that's what that one should be here on the side right here. Show DBS. Submit. Perfect. And we're going to keep moving down the line. So as we can see here, we have something in here that probably might show a flag. So we have sensitive information. So I kind of want to probably go into there. So the next command we're going to be using is the use command for further enumeration. So we can simply just type in use, and then if we type in SEN and then tab, that can autocomplete to go into our sensitive information. So we're now inside of, you can see the sensitive information tab instead of being that test show DB. So now let's see what we can find inside of it. So what we want to do is type in show and collection. And it looks like we have a flag. So perfect. So in order for us to now have, well, let me backtrack a little bit before we go too far ahead. What was the command used for listing out the collections in the database? And that was show collections. All right, perfect. Now, as we're getting down to the last piece to find our flags, we now see that there's a flag right there that we just need to, in a sense, cat out. When we're inside the GUI here, what we're actually going to do to show what's inside here, we'll be typing out db.flag.find parentheses semicolon. And perfect. By doing that, we have our object ID. That's one thing we can always have. And then right here is our flag information. So let's go ahead and grab this. Also get our db.flag.find. Oh, you know what? I don't think I wanted the parentheses. Or maybe it did. Let's see. Yeah, db.flag.find. There we go. And our root flag, which we just had, can be right there. Wait for the boom. Congratulations. And yeah, congratulations, everybody. We knocked it out, and that was amazing. Great job going through this noob-approved good training time to get into the Hack the Box series for the starting point. Please, please, please make sure you're kind of following along with this as we move through the remainder of the boxes, to include going into once we get into our tier 0 and tier 1. So, hey, as always, thanks for coming onto the channel. Thanks for checking out the video, and we'll catch you on the next one.